Yes, unable to sending data. Unable to connect. Why? Sending data. It's not connecting. Why is it not connecting?
Hey Siri, call Autumn.
Calling Autumn.
Hey, tell Autumn that I need to pick her up at 2 today because then I have to go get Uncle Elmer because we have to go to Moffat.
Okay.
All right, so 2 o'clock I'll be there.
Okay.
All right, love you, bye.
Love you too, buddy.
Okay, so we'll try this.
My butt hurts.
We're streaming on YouTube.
Oh, what did I just do?
Hey! Now we're streaming, allegedly. There we go. Finally. That was annoying. Sorry, everybody. We should have been on like 5-6 minutes ago, but Substack was being Substacky.
Oh, wait. I'm not dark on Substack.
No, I can see you perfectly fine right now.
That's so bizarre.
Ooh, how bizarre. How bizarre.
Taking it back to the 90s.
Me and Mrs. Ogre used to be obsessed with that song. Every time it would come on, we would just be singing at the top of our lungs in the car.
It's funny.
All right. Da, 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 da. Yada, yada, yada. Yay. Okay. Everything appears to be working at the moment. How nice for us.
So is Mitch McConnell alive?
My guess is no. He's either dead or he's on life support and he's not going to recover.
That's what I think, that he's on life support.
So they're trying very, very hard to delay this until August 3rd. I mean, we should talk about this. Well, this is technically the show. But,
Bashir requested an update on him.
Yeah, because if they call a special election, they're worried that there will be a Democrat elected because it's very short. It'll be a low turnout, which means it's going to be highly engaged with Democrats in a state that's elected a Democratic governor. So you can win a statewide election if you're a Democrat there sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, the governor is Democrat.
Right. So they're very, very worried that Mitch McConnell will be placed with a Democrat, which would make it way easier for us to take the Senate in the fall. So, and they want a lot of time to be able to go out there and, do whoever the Democratic opponent's going to be, they're going to want to spend a lot of time spending, hundreds of millions of dollars to, prove that they're a communist or whatever bullshit thing they come up with. And if they don't have a lot of time, because, a special election is pretty quick, it's got to go pretty fast. There's a chance they'll lose it. And they don't want to lose Mitch McConnell's seat. So they're just going to pretend that he's alive until August 3rd and be like, oh, he died yesterday. Sorry.
He's been hospitalized for 3 weeks. And we just found out about it a week ago.
Right.
That's crazy.
Which means he's on life support. if he's 84 years old and he had CPR, he's on life support, and he's probably brain dead because his brain was already malfunctioning, and if he was deprived of oxygen for 7 minutes, he's brain dead, and they're just lying about him. Like, oh yeah, we've been talking to him, blah blah blah, but they're all saying the same thing. They're reading from a script.
Yeah.
So that tells me he's dead.
You know what I'm most disappointed about? I always hope that if I went before Mitch McConnell, that my body could be thrown through his window at 3 a.m. And now that'll never happen.
Well, as soon as they announce it, I'm busting out my 2 beers and a shot glass, or 2 beers and rum and Coke. He's on my list. Hey. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, I didn't really write too much in the way of notes for Graham Plattner because I have things I need to say about that.
Nothing we like more than a man talking about that.
Oh yeah.
I'm just messing with you.
Well, of course you need my opinion on this.
You just got nothing we want more than mansplaining.
I know you're not on Substack a ton anymore. Like you don't really spend a whole lot of time on Substack.
Yeah, I don't. I'm just so busy. You know how I am.
Yeah, all day yesterday on Substack because you're not really on it. I've been just tearing people apart, mostly men. It's only been like one woman, but assuming it's actually a woman because you can never tell with an internet troll. But so much apologists, so much rape apologists, so much excuses. It's like, oh my God. Like everything I've ever said about the alt left is just, they're just putting it all on display. It's really quite impressive. Like there's no self-awareness whatsoever about what they're doing. But we're going to get to that. All right. Shall we start?
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. This is the Opinionated Ogre Podcast, your weekly rampage through current events with a little snark, a bit of foul language, and a lot of strong opinions. There are new episodes every Thursday. They're not safe for work or polite company of any kind whatsoever. I am your podcast host, the Opinionated Ogre, and this is my co-host, Florida Woman. Hello, Florida Woman.
Good morning, everyone.
I know, like you were the first one that I saw, and you said, I haven't gone back to your post, but you said there's like a ton of women have been posting on there. But I have noticed that all over Substack, there's just women sharing their stories of how they were sexually assaulted. And the fact, and I wrote this morning, it's like the fact that they feel they need to do that in order to explain to mostly men that no, what Graham Plattner is doing was not okay, is just a really sad statement about where we are as a country.
Yeah, you know what I always say, this country is more misogynistic than it is anything else.
It's really, really quite impressive how far people are going to just like, well, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you sound like a fucking Republican. Stop doing that.
And the thing is misogyny is a thread in every race, too. Like, it's not just like, oh, white people are super misogynistic, or Republicans are misogynistic, or Democrats are misogynistic. It's all of you. All of y'all. It's all of y'all.
Yeah, they've got the machismo. It's
race.
Yep, it's in the black community.
Religion.
It's just sexism, misogyny.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like sometimes the people on our side of the aisle are, at least like Republicans, are outright with it. But like we're like, oh, but it's because of this, not because of that. It's like, no, guy, you're a misogynist.
Yep. Yeah, we're definitely going to get to that. All right. This is the recording for July 8th, 2026. This is the recording for July 9th, 2026, and we have a lot to get to on episode 104 of the Og Pod. We ready to do this?
Yep.
All right, then let's get to it. It's time for the Ogre Nation news update.
Roar.
All right, we are not starting off with Graham Plattner because honestly, fuck that guy, and I don't want to really talk about him, but we're going to have to do that later. we're starting off with it. This has been going on for a while, and it's weird how little it's getting covered by the legacy press. I mean, it's starting to get covered, but not anywhere nearly as much as it should, considering it would be a huge fucking story. Christians are being attacked in the Holy Land by far-right Israelis.
No.
I know, it's weird. It's, you know, let me keep going here. There was a French nun was shoved to the ground early this year by Israeli West Bank occupier. Father Nicodemus Schnabel, the abbot of Domitian Abbey on Mount Zion in Jerusalem, told the Washington Post, this is all information we're getting from the Washington Post right now, the attack on a nun wasn't an isolated incident. It just happened to be caught on video. He said Christians across Jerusalem have been hit, spit at, and beaten. Again, from the Washington Post. In Jerusalem, Christians say they are routinely harassed by ultra-Orthodox Jews and huddle in fear when religious Zionists rampage through the old city, destroying property during their processions. 20 miles away, in the West Bank's only predominantly Christian town, Tebe, the population is dwindling after years of unrelenting attacks and economic pressure from armed Jewish settlers. The mayor of that city, his land was seized by Israeli settlers, and they wouldn't allow him to harvest his own olive orchard. Now, orchard. So, and in Lebanon, Israeli soldiers have been recorded damaging Christian churches. The Trump regime, surprise, has been silent about the real sustained attack on Christians being carried out in Israel by a psychotic far right. And instead, the regime is preferring to fixate on the alleged white genocide in South Africa. Mike Huckabee, we all remember Mike Huckabee. He's super deep religious. He's a Christian. He's a Christian's Christian. That's America's ambassador to Israel. He managed to pull his shit together just long enough to condemn an act of terror when Israeli settlers torched a 1,500-year-old church of St. George in Teba, but naturally, he immediately retracted it. So the thing is with this, right? I know people want to jump and say, oh, Jews, right? Because that's what a lot of you do. And shut the fuck up. It's not about them being
not
Jewish.
You, not our listeners.
It's not about them being Jewish. It's about them being far-right extremists.
Exactly.
You get this in every fucking religion. This is what the far-right extremist Muslims do. I mean, literally, over in Afghanistan, the Taliban was blowing up ancient fucking structures because they weren't Muslim. It's like, okay, even if it's not dedicated to Islam, it's still part of your cultural heritage. That's some impressive shit you're blowing up from thousands of years ago. Why are you doing this? Because they're extremists. Here in the United States, our far-right extremists happily have been burning churches and synagogues and black churches specifically and mosques for generations.
Oh, and shooting the people inside of them.
Exactly. Because it's not a white people thing. It's not an Arab people thing. It's not a Jewish people thing. It's a far-right extremists. And that is what is controlling Israel right now. So the problem is last week when we discussed the U.S. Supreme Court decision against trans people, we mentioned that too many people, especially people on our side, are ignoring what's happening to trans Americans because it doesn't affect them personally. They're not trans and they don't know any trans people, so look away. But it's only a matter of time until they move on to other people's rights. And all you have to do is look at what's happening in Israel. Netanyahu's government of far-right lunatics allowed attacks on Muslims in the West Bank for decades. And never mind what was happening in Gaza, right? That's Gaza. They can pretend that it's all about fighting terrorism. In the West Bank, it's literally just them stealing land and attacking Muslims. And there was very little to no resistance from the Christian communities out there. And I haven't heard of any. I don't. If maybe you've heard of some, but whatever it was not particularly loud, and it definitely wasn't sustained. So now that the far right in Israel has gone completely off the fucking rails, it's not just Muslims they're attacking anymore. Now they're coming for the Christians because they're not Jewish. They're not. So why would they spare them? There's not. We're not friends. Jews and the Jewish religion and Christian religion are not compatible with each other. So therefore, you have far right religious extremists are going to target any group, any minority that's not part of their cohort. And now they're doing it, which is the point that we keep making about here and the trans community. They will not stop. No one's going to be safe unless you're, in the United States, a white, cis, heterosexual Christian. Everyone else is in danger. And it's just a matter of time until they either get bored of attacking trans people or they've done enough damage that they've decided that now is the time to move on to the next group. So when we tell you protect trans kids, we're not saying it because we have this deep, abiding love for the trans community. We're doing it because it's a matter of self-preservation. And,
also, we have a deep, abiding love for the trans community.
well, that's true. I mean, I love my daughter's girlfriend. She's fucking awesome. So, but this is the thing. They will never stop. Right-wing extremist religious fanatics never stop. And it's really quite impressive that we're watching our government sit there and go la 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 when they're supposed to be like, oh, we have to stop persecution of Christians everywhere, but they don't really care at all, especially when it's another country that they want to go out and do a lot of damage because most of it's being done to Muslims. So therefore, we'll just overlook, the few couple of tens of thousands of Christians also being attacked.
It's wild.
It's amazing. So when people tell you this is a Christian country, ask them when they're going to do something about protecting the Christians in the Middle East. And they're just going to go, I don't know what you're talking about. They're just going to pretend it's not happening because of course they are.
Well, speaking of religious fanatics, the right is really pissed off right now because Planned Parenthood's Medicaid funding was restored. For now, I guess. Republicans failed to pass an extension of the provision that defunded Planned Parenthood last year and caused clinics around the country to close. The provision, if you remember, was part of the Big Ugly Bill. I still can't get over the fact that it was named the Big Beautiful Bill, like we were third graders.
I know. It's just, they're so embarrassing. That's what Trump liked calling it.
It's ridiculous. So it resulted in the closure of 30 healthcare centers and tens of thousands of people lost access to vital healthcare services. The Medicaid funding was restored, and it'll allow clinics to be reimbursed for standard services like screenings and birth control and stuff like that, but not abortions. Though it is a good time for us to remind you that abortions are healthcare.
What? No way. That's totally separate. We don't know what you're talking about.
Right. As we're seeing around the country when women die in emergency rooms because they can't get DNCs. The Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America organization, which you would think is pro-choice. They get me every time with that name.
I know.
I'm like, I don't think Susan B. Anthony would have been pro-life, but here we are. Maybe she was. The Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America Foundation released a statement decrying the decision to allow the funding to go back into effect, saying that it's being seen as backsliding and not allowing Planned Parenthood to access funding is viewed as the default expectation of the forced birth movement. The organization also demanded that Republicans work to defund Planned Parenthood again as soon as they get back from their break, because apparently they're on another break It must be nice to be on breaks from work all the
I
time.
know, really. It's like, oh man, those are some long ass vacations.
Yeah, like a month at a time. What are we doing, guys?
I mean, technically they're supposed to go back to the district and actually do work with their community, but most Republicans hide from their constituents. So
And just fundraise.
Yep.
Mike Johnson wants to start on a new reconciliation bill right away, but some Senate Republicans are reportedly distancing themselves from the efforts. They are allegedly concerned that passing something against abortion so close to the midterms when their majority is hanging on by a thread would be dangerous to them, and it would be.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
Senator Josh Hawley, you remember him. He's the one who raised his fist on the morning of January 6th.
And then
ran with a quickness. He's not one of the senators who's worried about it at all. He thinks that voting for an extension, that not voting for the extension was the real problem for the party because they're going to need the votes from the anti-healthcare movement to win their majority again. And now Republicans are shying away from it. But I actually think that it would be a really bad idea. Well, actually, I think that it would
great
be
for us.
I think it would be a really great idea for them to defund health clinics again.
Right before an election. Just to remind
Right
everybody
before
that,
an
yeah, the
election.
abortion issue hasn't gone away. They're still killing women. Not that we want
Right.
them defunded, but, you know.
No, just to show everybody, hey guys, this is still a problem. It's been 4 years since Roe, and every single day they show that they hate women. Every single day.
Yeah, it's amazing how many, we don't know how many women are dying because they can't access proper health care. And you'd think that would be a bigger story. You know, 100 women, 500 women, 1,000, 10,000. How many are dying? You think someone would have gone out of their way to try and, you know, get that number together and post an article saying, hey, thousands of women are dying because of this that wouldn't have died otherwise. Maybe that's a problem here. Other countries, one woman died and the country freaked out and changed their abortion law. That was Ireland. And here we're just like, well, you know, who cares how many are dying? It's, you know, we don't really need to keep track of all that nonsense.
And to be fair, my family's from Ireland. A lot more women than one died. It's just that we heard about the one. I mean, we're talking about decades of anti-abortion laws. Don't even get me started about the mother homes in Ireland.
Ugh. All right. Sorry, go ahead. What?
No, I was just going to say, but anyway.
All right. So finally, for major stories here, it seems fitting that white supremacists marched through the streets of Washington, D.C. on America's 250th birthday. If you didn't catch this, there was Patriot Front. Those are the guys who dress up in their little khakis and their nice polo shirts, and they cover their faces because they learned after the Unite the Right rally that not, you know, showing your face means you're going to pay the consequences for being a Nazi. Now, the Charlottesville Unite the Right rally in 2017, that was the one where they marched with their little tiki torches chanting, Jews will not replace us. And Trump was like, oh my goodness, I don't understand. There were very good people on both sides, blah, 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 which ever since then, Republicans have been trying to insist is not what he actually said or actually meant. It's like, no, it's what he said and it's what he meant. So approximately 400 of these little shit weasels showed up on the National Mall on Saturday. And they were marching around and, you know, their little flags and the blah, 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 and their sunglasses so they can hide their faces. And of course, the Trump regime was like, oh my goodness, it's their First Amendment rights. Interior Secretary Doug Burgum, who's just been slurping on Trump's taint so fucking hard, I'm surprised his lips aren't permanently deformed. He defended Patriot Front's rights on CNN State of the Union Sunday morning, saying, I think that the certainty what they stand for is nothing I could possibly agree with. But one of the foundational principles of the United States, which makes democracy messy, is free speech. And there are still plenty of things that I see that I might personally find offensive, reprehensible. But in America, free speech is allowed, and this is by the whole spectrum of things, which is a bit of a word salad there. But these are the same people who, for the last almost 2 years, have been quite literally arresting protesters who are pissed off about Gaza. Now, I have my own issues with a lot of those people, but the fact that they can say it is actually covered by the First Amendment. But not anymore, right? Anti-Semitism is somehow that's assuming it is even anti-Semitic, right? Because not all of them were anti-Semitic. Some were just like, hey, Israel shouldn't be doing that in Gaza and we shouldn't be supporting it. And they're like, oh, well, you're under arrest. We're literally going to put you in a detention center because you're an immigrant with a green card or naturalized citizen, and that we don't like that. It's like, what happened to free speech? I thought it was allowable. And here you have literal Nazis who, by definition, hate Jews. And the regime is just like, well, free speech, y'all. Free speech. Now, it should also be noted that fascist propagandists like Laura Ingraham on Fox are pretending that the Nazis were secretly Antifa.
I love it.
It was like, it's like, I mean, I know her audience is filled with brain damaged morons, but it was like, come on, man, really? They're secret Nazi Antifa? What are you even fucking talking about?
I think it's because it worked during January 6th, so they decided to use it again.
Yeah, I mean, but if we all know that if this were true, if this was actually Antifa, they would have been shot as terrorists.
Right.
So the whole thing's fucking ridiculous. And now it was only 400, and it's not a huge group, but they're all over the country, and they're just getting more dangerous because they're encouraged and protected by the regime, which to my mind is going to make what happens next absolutely fucking hilarious, because we've talked about this a bunch of times. The regime has been creating pretenses to go after Antifa, right? They've been creating the Antifa boogeyman, and they turned that into terrorism, right? Just being anti-fascist is now terrorism because it's part of how they want to stifle dissent.
Wild times we live in.
Oh yeah. What makes it absolutely hilarious, though, is that they're setting this precedent of going after domestic terrorism, with hammer and tongs, hardcore going after domestic terrorism. Now, the domestic terrorism they're talking about is made up. But when we're back in power, that precedent has been set, which means when they start shooting at us, because when they lose power, the fucking right-wing militias and the Nazis are going to pick up their guns, because of course they are. Fascism is terrorism. And the government starts going after them and saying, all right, you know what? It's time to do something about these fucking losers. The right is going to scream bloody murder, and it's going to be like, we learned it from watching you guys. This was what you wanted. You wanted us to go after domestic terrorism. These guys have the guns and they're threatening to murder everybody. And now we can do that without you, being able to, oh no, blah, 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 blah. You set the standard. Maybe you shouldn't have done that.
It reminds me of back in like 2006, 7, when they had all of those lunatics on the border, and that one lady who was like super anti-immigrant, anti-Muslim, like went into somebody's house and murdered them. Do you remember that?
Not that particular thing. I remember them all running around the border, and that we didn't do anything about it. We just let it go because we don't want to persecute racist white people, because it's bad politics and it makes the right upset, and then the media goes, oh my God, I can't believe we're doing this. It's like, sorry, them days is over. You don't get to cry about it anymore. This is what you wanted. Now this is what you're getting.
Disgusting. Well, we've decided to bring back our least favorite segment this week. I scream, you scream, we all scream because of fucking ice. That's because... I forgot that we had a sound effect for it. It's been a minute. So on Tuesday, ICE shot and killed Lorenzo Salgado Araujo. Yeah, right? Araujo.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Araujo.
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 Araujo. That's what I thought I said.
But close enough.
Araujo.
Yes.
Okay. On Tuesday, ICE shot and killed Lorenzo Salgado Araujo in Houston. He was in the Magnolia Park neighborhood in the city. He's a Mexican national who ICE claimed they targeted for a targeted operation, but they say that all the time. DHS is claiming that he tried to use his vehicle to hit an ICE agent. Where have we heard that before?
I know, it's so weird.
Every single time. That's what they say every single time. It's so weird, though, that all of the years before this, ICE didn't have to shoot and kill anybody who claimed that they were, who they were claiming was using their vehicle. But suddenly Trump 2 is happening, and all of these people have to die because they're using their vehicles as weapons. Wow.
You know what it reminds me of? You've watched South Park, right?
Yeah, enough.
Yeah, in one of the earlier seasons, when they were they didn't have a license to, I forget, Uncle Jimmy Bob or Billy Bob, whatever his name is, the uncle didn't have a license to shoot animals, right? It was off season, but it was like, well, if you yell, it's coming right for us, you can shoot them. And that's what they thought. They were just walking around, and there was just a deer sitting there eating a flower, and they go, it's headed right for us, and they shot it. But that's what this is.
It does feel like that, yeah.
It's just a pretense.
They have used this excuse multiple times now. In one case, a woman's charges were actually dropped after they shot her 5 times. When video showed that ICE actually rammed her vehicle, not the other way around.
Yep.
So, Araujo's son, Ronaldo, posted on Facebook last night, and he said, "My father is a hardworking Mexican man, and he was the one who was killed by ICE. He has been in the country for nearly 35 years, working in construction to provide for myself, my 2 brothers, and my mother. He was in the process of obtaining his work permit through the legal process. He was on his way to work, picking up his workers. My father did not deserve this, and he didn't deserve it. None of the immigrants who have been shot and killed by ICE deserve it. Yet here we are watching it happen."
Which is why one of the top things that we have to do when we take back power in 2029, well, I mean, we're going to take it back in January of next year, but when we have control of the government, is all of these people have to be fired, outed, and arrested for all of the fucking crimes they've done. They have to be held accountable. They have to. So, all right. Sorry, you were going to say something?
I was just going to say that for somebody who was so dangerous that he was targeting the ICE officials with his vehicle, none of the ICE officials actually went to the hospital or were injured.
So strange. Now, we know ICE frequently lies about the weaponization of vehicles because we saw them lying about this in the aftermath of the Renee Good murder. And, I mean, there was video of it. And they were like, oh, my God, she drove right towards him. No, she didn't. What are you talking about? You're lying. Now, we have another example of this from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, during another targeted operation. ICE claims that the man in the car, Clemente Lara Hernandez, rammed an ICE vehicle and tried to hit an officer, except there's video of it, and that is not at all what it shows. While they had him blocked in, and he was, in his car, ICE started yelling at him and smashed his window. Then he drove away, because if someone's yelling at you and smashing your window, you're going to try to get the fuck away from them, because ICE they're crazy. Never mind the fact that they have a habit of putting people in detention centers and making them disappear, and people are dying in detention centers or concentration camps all over the country. They're just super fucking violent and dangerous. Why would you subject yourself to that? So as he was driving away, Lara Hernandez clips the car in front of his, like literally just clips the edge of it. And this is not even remotely ramming the car. And while he was driving away, a trigger-happy agent tries to kill him by firing his gun at the fleeing car. The guy's still alive, but only because the agent managed to not shoot him in the head like he wanted to. This was another attempted murder by an out of control ICE. All of these people have to be brought up on charges. They have to be fired, outed, and brought up on charges. They have to go live in their communities with everybody knowing you're one of the fucking Gestapo that terrorized this country for 4 fucking years. And they have to, never again work in law enforcement. Their lives have to be absolutely fucking destroyed. And if that sounds vindictive, yes, it is, because I'm a very vindictive person. But at the same time, we have to send a fucking message. We have to send a message.
I agree.
If you want to be a fucking violent, murderous fascist, you're going to pay the price for it. No more protecting racist, mediocre men.
Well, on to headlines for short attention spans, which I was thinking about the other day, but it seems like our headlines for short attention spans have gotten longer and longer and longer.
I know. There's so much stuff that we just keep shoving in, like another headline, because we really should talk about this.
So let's start off with some good news for a change. You're welcome. Massachusetts is going to extend the statute of limitations for rape victims. The governor has pledged to sign the bill when it hits her desk. Honestly, it might have already happened. I wrote this on Saturday. And I apologize, but I did not check again because I've been watching the World Cup. So the state currently prohibits the prosecution of rapists after 15 years in nearly all cases. The only exception is for children. Even when new evidence links someone to a crime, for example, DNA testing, the new bill will ensure that rapes can be prosecuted indefinitely if a suspect is identified through DNA after the 15-year window, which is outstanding. There should not be a statute of limitations for rape.
They really shouldn't.
Governor Maura Healey issued a statement saying, quote, "Today, DNA evidence can provide new answers years later, and our laws should reflect that reality. This change gives survivors another path to justice while helping law enforcement hold violent offenders accountable." And to that, we applaud her because, wow, what the fuck were they doing before?
All right, so back to bad news. Trump took his first trip on the Qatari jet we all paid for. Remember, this $400 million plane was gifted to Trump last year. And he said he intends to take it with him when he leaves office. Apparently, he says he's going to just put it in the middle of his presidential library, which will end up probably being a hotel because grift. But I find that to be extremely unlikely.
I never thought about that, but you're right. It probably is going to be a hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Obama's is a community center. His will be a hotel.
Yeah, there's no way Trump is not going to keep this plane for his own personal use. I mean, they'll have to strip out all of the sensitive stuff from it, but there's no way he's just going to donate it and have it sit there when he could be flying around in this luxury jet that he was given as a bribe.
Which is wild.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's currently Air Force One. When he leaves office, it should remain Air Force One. It's like, it wasn't a gift to you personally. It was a gift to the country. So you can't have it. Fuck off. So taxpayers, that would be you and me, shelled out about $1 billion fucking dollars to have it retrofitted so it could be used as Air Force One. Now, you have to remember, Air Force One is the most technologically advanced flying machine in the fucking world. Like, rockets that go into space are not this complicated because it's Air Force One. So it was always going to cost a gazillion fucking dollars to turn this thing into Air Force One, which is why we tend to build them from scratch. But Trump he didn't want to wait. He wanted it right now. The Air Force says it was $400 million, but you can't believe anything they're saying while they're being controlled by fascists. And Trump took his plane, because as far as he's concerned, it is his, to this weird North Dakota speech at the Teddy Roosevelt Presidential Library opening. And he's just, everything he does is just fucking weird and creepy and odd. And now that he has his own personal airplane that he thinks he's going to keep, that's just where we are as a country.
Yeah, it's crazy. But we don't have money for healthcare, guys.
Right. We can't feed kids school lunches and breakfast because we don't have the money for it. But we definitely had $1 billion so Trump could fly around on a luxury jetliner.
Well, the Qatari jet trip took place after we learned that Trump scammed his way to $2 billion last year. Rupert Murdoch's The Wall Street Journal editorial board tore him apart. I have thought throughout this term that it's really funny how the Wall Street Journal, which we largely viewed as like a right-wing newspaper before, like sure they had like good financial information, but it's not where we would go to get news. They have been really, really tearing into him.
Which is weird because the Post, which is also owned by Rupert Murdoch, has been doing the exact opposite.
Well,
They've been fluffing him. So
yeah, always been fluffing him. So in an op-ed, the editorial board stated, quote, Americans tell pollsters they don't think they are getting ahead financially, but President Trump and his family are having no trouble, judging from his 2025 financial disclosure report released Tuesday. The Trump clan is cashing in on the presidency in big, sketchy ways. The 927-page report shows Mr. Trump made some $1.4 billion from crypto alone. Yowzers. That was all them.
yeah,
I was
that's a direct quote, including the yowzers.
Yeah. And you know what's the funniest thing about all of this is that the Trump people, like the fans who bought into this crypto coin, lost like $10 billion or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's one of the other headlines. We'll get to that in a minute.
Oh, okay, good. So he's made all of this money while the people who support him have lost it. And it reminds me of in his first term when Steve Bannon had that whole scam about Build the Wall, and Trump supporters were donating to the Build the Wall fund, and then the money went towards Steve Bannon buying like a yacht.
And he should be in jail for that. But he got a pardon.
He got a pardon. But the other guy, the quadruple amputee that was with him, did not get a pardon. He actually went to jail.
Womp, womp.
Anyways, the grift was the entire purpose of this regime. The grift and the revenge.
Yeah, Jane from Pittsburgh says, my MAGA brother had no idea that Qatar even gave Trump that plane. He called me a liar for even saying it. And it was...
Did you call him a dumbass?
I was just telling Anastasia about something yesterday having to do with Mrs. Ogre's stepfather.
Uh-huh.
This is back when I was talking to him still, right? So this was literally a decade ago, or a little more than a decade ago. He was complaining about California because he watches Fox News, and California is always like the boogeyman for Fox News because they hate California. It's a big liberal state. And he was talking about how, it's broke. It's just the worst state. It's just mismanaged. You can't put liberals in charge of things, blah, 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 blah. And at that point, like about 2, maybe 3 years earlier, they had gotten rid of the law that was crippling their economy. They were able to raise taxes. And they, at that point, had $1 billion surplus. So he's talking about how they're broke and how blah, 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 blah. And I was looking at him like, what are you talking about? That's not true. It hasn't been true for like 2 or 3 years. They've been running a surplus this entire time. And he literally did not know what I was talking about. He actually said I was lying. And I was like, Google it. Just look it up online. You'll see California's had a budget surplus for the last 2 to 3 years. And he didn't want to do it. He refused to look it up because
he didn't want to be wrong.
That would have meant he would have had to acknowledge that Fox News has been lying to him for years, and he couldn't do it. It was like this block in his brain just refused to acknowledge that he was being lied to, because then he would have to question everything else. What else have they been lying to me about? And he just refused. He was like, nope, nope. It's like, okay, but you're not in a cult, of course. So Let us move on. It is the official stance of the Opinionated Ogre podcast that Grant Plantner can eat a bag of Nazi tattooed dicks. If you have somehow not heard about this, Plantner has been credibly accused of rape. Credibly accused. There are contemporaneous emails and texts about this.
Where the victim said that was not consensual.
Right. And the response from the Democratic Party, including progressives like Bernie Sanders, Zohran Mamdani, who never, by the way, endorsed Plantner, so good for him, Elizabeth Warren, Ro Khanna, right? Even the progressives. It's not just the establishment. It's the progressives as well. They've all been telling him to drop the fuck out. And he has until Monday to make this decision. If he drops out by Monday, they have the Democrats, the Democratic Party of Maine has 2 weeks to appoint his replacement. They're deciding on what they're going to do. They may run another primary, or they may just pick somebody. They haven't figured that part out yet. Plantner has been demanding to have a say in how this is done, and the response to that was, "Go fuck yourself, buddy. That's not happening."
Well, John Fetterman today released a told CBS's News, quote, he seems now entitled to be part of this conversation to pick the replacement. You know, many of these people that put someone like Plantner in his seat right now sit it out and now allow the Maine Democrats to find out. They would have a much better idea on how to win in Maine. Like, Fetterman is my biggest disappointment.
I know. There's just, Jesus Christ.
He ranks right up there with Gillibrand.
Now, the response from the alt-left has been unfucking believable. So, starting 2 days ago, I have been just raging at these fucking people. And it wasn't because they were like, oh, I don't know, maybe we should, maybe it's not true. But no. That is not what they've been doing. Okay. They've just been flat out saying, I don't care. Or these are the other excuses. This is what I've seen in the last 48 hours. And it's really fucking impressive. One, I've seen so many people blaming AIPAC for this, which is like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Are you shitting me? He's been credibly accused of rape, and your first response is the fucking Jews. The Jews are behind it. I've seen more than one person say, well, Trump is a rapist too, or Trump sexually assaulted people and he's in office, so therefore. No, that's not how that fucking works. Okay? Trump's a fucking pedophile too. Does that mean we should support a pedophile for office because Trump? No, go fuck yourself. I've seen, I don't even know how many people have been either blaming the victim because she let him in when he was drunk because she was afraid to say no because he's been known to be violent. So she was afraid to say no, and then he raped her, and they're blaming her for letting him in the first place, which is
wild.
Are you fucking insane? Are you even listening to what you're saying? And they've also just been calling her a liar. Like, why didn't she press charges? And it's like, how do we keep having that fucking conversation every 5 months, every 5 to 6 months? It is a well understood problem that sexual assault victims do not come forward because when they come forward, this is how they're fucking treated. So a lot of them they just stay quiet because it's safer for them, literally safer. And this is not a new concept. We have this conversation literally 2, 3, 4 times a year about this. And this is on the left. We have this conversation. So here are these so-called progressives going, why didn't she say anything? It's like, you fucking know the answer to that. You know the fucking answer. What you're doing right now is why victims don't come forward. and go fuck yourself. Now, another one I heard, which was just like, holy shit, you got to be fucking kidding me. We're fighting Nazis, so this is no time for purity. To which my response has been, you can suck my ball sack. You motherfuckers are always with your goddamn purity tests, right? Right now, they're saying, oh, if you take AIPAC money, I can't vote for you. It's like, I'm sorry. Didn't you just say we were fighting Nazis, so this is no time for purity? Which is it? You can't have both, right? So money from AIPAC is a hard red line, but rape isn't? Are you fucking listening to yourselves? Do you have any idea how much like a Republican you sound? All of this coming out of your mouth, it might as well be exactly Republican talking points. It's identical. And all of these fucking people swear that they're the good guy, that they're progressives. Like, no, you're fucking not. You're a misogynist piece of shit. I have a guy on my page right now arguing that male teachers get accused by female students all the time and they get fired without a blah, 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 blah. And it's like, what are you doing? Do you even hear what you're saying? You're defending a fucking rapist and you're just using all of the right's talking points. You sound like the fucking manosphere and they just can't help themselves. They can't. This is why I've been bitching about the alt-left for over a decade at this point. When there are actual progressives, there's plenty of progressives, but you have these other people who swear they're progressives, but they're motivated by this underlying strain of misogyny and racism, and they cannot fucking control themselves. And you just have to let them talk, and they will eventually tell you all about what a piece of shit they are. And these are people who view the Democratic Party as the enemy because it doesn't center white men anymore, or not as much as they want. And here they are telling us exactly who they are, and we should fucking believe them.
Mm.
Okay, that's it for Grant Plattner. He can just go fuck off into the sun.
Yeah, and as a woman, another day, another excuse.
It's all that's right. You posted a story, not a story, but you posted what had happened to you when you were younger, and you said, I haven't gone back to the thread, but you said a ton of women.
Yeah, not a ton, but like there's a lot of women responding to me.
And I've seen a whole bunch of posts in the last 24 hours of women describing how they were sexually assaulted.
Yeah. And we have to do this every single time.
Every single fucking time in order to convince people that actually, yes, this is the thing that happens. And no, we don't all come out and talk about it immediately because of what you're fucking doing right now of blaming the victim, attacking the victim, calling her a liar, blah, 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 blah. It's all these fucking excuses. This is why women don't come forward. And this is why they always choose the fucking bear. So.
Well, on America's 250th birthday, Trump had a phone call with his best buddy, Vladimir Putin. And he failed to mention this to the American people. It's weird.
So weird. We had to find that out from Russia.
Yeah. So bizarre. Why would he lie? That's probably why your fireworks were late. So Rachel Maddow suggested that Trump would spew Kremlin talking points at the NATO summit, as he's done every other time Putin passed on his orders to him. But so far, Trump has limited his idiocy to demanding control of Greenland again. And this morning, Trump said, we are applying great pressure. President Putin is under very great pressure. I don't think he likes what is happening. I don't think he is thrilled with the current situation. He is under significant pressure to bring this to a conclusion. I think there is pressure on everyone to end this war.
Yeah, not pressure from us, but
pressure, guys. Pressure. There's pressure. And the U.S. announced that we would start building Patriot missiles for Ukraine. So,
yay! Hey, that's money to be made for the military-industrial complex. Hooray! So let's get back to some good news to wrap this up. Speaking of Russia and the failing war in Ukraine, Ukraine slammed a bunch of drones into the Omsk refinery, which is over 2,000 kilometers inside Russia, away
Wow.
from the Ukrainian border. They have demonstrated that there is pretty much no place in Russia Ukraine cannot reach, which is really freaking out Russians because remember, this war was supposed to, I'm sorry, military action was supposed to be over in a couple of weeks, and it was going to be quick, it was going to be easy, it wouldn't cost anything, and it would never ever come back home.
And they're doing it with like $60 drones.
Yeah. So now Ukraine is just rampaging all over Russia with drones. Now, the difference is, whereas Russia keeps attacking civilian infrastructure and civilian buildings, Ukraine has been targeting Russia's oil infrastructure for the most part. The Omsk refinery was the last major refinery not set on fire by Ukraine. They have systematically crippled Russia's ability to produce gas, to refine oil, to do anything. So what has happened now, and I wrote about this a few days ago because it was fucking hilarious. Russia, because they're desperate for money, has been selling oil to India at a massive discount, like $2 to $3 a barrel, which is insane. They're losing huge amounts of money on this, but at this point, any money that they take in is what they need because their economy is struggling so badly. What made it hilarious is that now that they can't refine their own oil, they have to buy processed gas, like actual gas, not oil. They're not buying the oil. They're buying the refined oil gas, gasoline. They're importing it from India at whatever the street price is, which is way, way fucking higher than it was 6 months ago. So they're selling the oil at a loss and they're buying the gas because they can't process it themselves, and they're losing billions of dollars on both ends of this. Russia's economy is not going to be able to withstand the loss of their oil revenue for long, especially if they have to keep pouring out money just to keep their cars and vehicles running. So, fuck you, Russia.
Hold on one second. Hey, I'm still recording, buddy. I have a small child hugging me under the table. So, it's being reported that Trump made $1.4 billion from his crypto scam, as we mentioned, since returning to office. What's getting a lot less attention is how he ripped off his imbecile followers. Quote, nearly 1 million people who bought President Trump's meme coin have lost money through the end of June, according to a report by cryptocurrency analytics firm Nansen. Their losses total $3.81 billion. And remember, Trump was making money on the front end and back end of the crypto scam. So he was getting money every time there was a transaction made, every time they bought it, and every time it was sold. We just, fuck him.
I'm so sad. It breaks my heart.
It's just like the watches, the little coins that they sold, remember back in the day?
Mm-hmm.
During the first term. It's just, they're just fucking around and finding out. I just could care less.
Yep. Just no tears for them except the little teeny tiny ones. So fuck
remember them. When they sold the money and the people were surprised that the money wasn't actual money?
I mean, you can't go broke just ripping off MAGA land because they're just so willing to throw their money away. It's like as long as you go out there and say, I'm doing this to be racist and I'm doing it for you, they will throw money at you however you ask them to. It's like, please buy a bag of my farts. And they'll be like, oh my God, it's white nationalist farts. I have to have it because they're that fucking stupid.
Well, on to self-care of the week. Yay.
Woo.
Let me yawn first. I'm gonna go first because I'm a woman. Um, so our oldest son took a break from his busy life last Friday and graced us with his presence. It was so crazy. It was like a celebrity showed up. We were so excited. Um, of course, we sent him money so he could buy lunch on his way down here.
Of course.
We played Sorry with our youngest. So it was like, he brought his girlfriend with him. So it was them two. The first game was them, our youngest son, who's 7, and my mother. And it was so funny. I was laughing my ass off as my oldest convinced my youngest to keep going after grandma. And grandma and then grandma kept getting upset. She wasn't like, legitimately mad, but she did say that our oldest Aiden was scamming her. She's like, look at him. He's already home. And he's convincing your brother to go after me. It was so funny.
Yeah,
She
no,
was not amused.
our games of Sorry are pretty cutthroat.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like the funniest thing. And then on the 4th, oh my god. Ugh, sorry, guys. On the 4th, my family had a barbecue. We set off a bunch of fireworks. Nobody lost any fingers. Sadly, our oldest had to work this weekend, so he wasn't with us. And he didn't even get like the good shift. He was working during the day, like 7 to 7. He's an ER tech at a hospital. I was like, oh, maybe you're going to see some blown off fingers, but it was too early for him to see any blown off fingers. So, and then he reminded me they wouldn't go to his hospital anyway because it's not a trauma center. But I was sad. I was really hoping to hear some stories since the pit is on hiatus right now.
You're terrible.
So I've spent most of my free time for the last couple of weeks watching the World Cup. Football.
American football
isn't on yet, so football is filling the void. We're hoping that Argentina wins again because it's likely Lionel Messi's last World Cup, and my oldest has been a Messi fan since he was a tiny, tiny boy. But really right now it's anybody's championship. It's down to the last 8 teams. Well, anybody's championship except for the USA because Trump decided that he was going to get involved and jinx us.
Everything Trump touches dies.
Every single thing. I remember during the Super Bowl where it was the Eagles against the Chiefs, Trump was like, oh, the Chiefs are going to win. They lost. Not only did they lose, they got stomped. That was kind of like the USA team this week. I'm a little bit disappointed in myself because I have been rooting for Argentina the whole time. But then I watched one of the games last week and I was like, oh, like maybe we're going to do it. Maybe we're going to make it. I was like, wouldn't that be cool if we won a World Cup on the 250th birthday of America? I don't know why I started to believe.
Because you enjoy disappointment.
Maybe
which is why you're a Buffaloes fan.
I was just going to say, maybe as a Buffalo Bills fan, I have just, I like the punishment. It's like, what is it? Self-flagellation or whatever?
Yep.
Is that what it is? Yeah. Maybe I just like it. I have like sports S&M. Like, I don't know what the fuck it is, but I was like, maybe we're going to do it. We're going to do it. And then our game was like, my best friend texted me and she goes, did they just meet each other in the parking lot? Like, what the fuck is this? It was so bad. Like, our team was so bad.
Well, I did not watch that. But Sunday, the day after the 4th of July, was my birthday. And I got to spend most of the day with my full extended family, which is unusual. Claudia and Lila are always busy packing the day before my birthday the day of my birthday, because they almost always leave for a beach vacation on the 6th.
They go to North Carolina, right?
It's either that or Ocean City. They do one or the other. Well, they do both, but it depends on when they're doing which vacation. But they're always packing on my birthday, right? Because they're busy, they're packing. We can only spend a little bit of time together on my birthday. But this year, their trips are next week. So I was able to spend my birthday most of the day with everybody. So we watched Project Hail Mary. Now, me, Claudia, and Mrs. Ogre had seen it in the theaters, and we loved it. And we wanted the girls to watch it very, very badly. So they did. And they also loved it because it's an amazingly good movie, even though it's science fiction and you don't like science fiction. Afterwards, we had dinner and we had ice cream cake, and then we played games for a few hours before calling it a night. And it was pretty much everything I want in a birthday, to spend it with my family and do stuff with my family, because we don't often get to spend a lot of time together as all of us at once. So this coming Saturday is going to be just as exciting, because a couple of weeks ago while we were in Ocean City, Lila asked about going to see the Rocky Horror Picture Show again. I took her when she was, I want to say 15, to see it. And she loved it because it's right up her alley. And it had a whole shadow cast thing going on. You know, the people were out there. Hi, Jordan. People were out there reenacting the movie while the movie was playing. And it's a huge amount of fun where we went to go see it. I took Anastasia and her friend Lillian this past Halloween.
That's the girl who went to New York City with you, right?
Yep. We went to go see it in a regular movie theater, but it was just because it was like the 50th anniversary, but it was just the regular movie theater, and people weren't they weren't reacting it. No one was doing any of the jokes. Like, I was the only person yelling out the lines. So it was crappy. It was boring. And I was like, no, we have to do something. But every month in Maryland, about half an hour away, they do, like on a Friday and Saturday, they do a live show during the movie, and they have all the props and they have everything. And that's this weekend, and it's right before Claudia and Lila leave. So we're going, and we were going to take June and Lila with us because June hasn't seen it yet. And Anastasia and Lillian have only seen a crappy version. So we were all going to go together, and we found out that June was working, so it was just going to be me and Anastasia and Lillian, because Lila didn't want to go without June. However, on Tuesday, June found out that she's not working on Saturday, so they are coming, and it's going to be so fucking exciting. I'm so excited. Lila's going to do my makeup. Like the last two times I went to go see Rocky Horror, she did a full face makeup for me, and it was great. She loves doing this. She loves putting makeup on me. It's like she's like 6 years old and her daddy's letting her put makeup on. So, but she does the full makeup, which takes about 30, 40 minutes to do. And I'm going to go with all of my favorite girls to go see the Rocky Horror Picture Show live. And it's going to be fucking amazing. And every parent should take their children their teenagers to see Rocky Horror Picture Show with a full shadow cast. It's good, clean family fun. My father took me when I was like 10, which was wildly inappropriate. But
that's funny that your dad took you. I wouldn't expect that from your dad.
No, he's a huge fan of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Really?
Yeah, and he took us when I was 10 years old, and we were yelling the lines and everything. Not that I knew them, but there were people in the audience yelling the lines, and I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. So way too young to have watched it, but still.
That's pretty cool.
All right. That is it for today's show. The Opinionated Ogre podcast, like the newsletter, is free and 100% supported by you, our amazing audience. We have no advertisers or sponsors yet. So please consider becoming a paid subscriber for only $5 a month or just $50 a year. If you prefer a one-time donation, we now have PayPal and Venmo buttons for your convenience. Please help the Ogre Nation. Please help others join the Ogre Nation conversation by sharing the OgPod on the social media platform of your choice and giving us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening. You can find me at the Opinionated Ogre on Substack, Blue Sky, and also on TikTok. Florida Woman, where can our beloved audience find you?
You can find me at Florida Woman Rants on Substack.
Excellent. There are 116 days left until the most important midterms in American history. And that time will fly by faster than you can possibly imagine. The Nazis marched in D.C. this past weekend because they think they're winning. In November, we'll show them just how fucking wrong they are. Remember, you are never alone. Stay strong. We beat the fascists once, and we will fucking do it again. Adios.
Adios.
Should I re-record that because you yawned? Nah, I'll just leave it. It's fine.
No, I think I got you in a gap. Oh, fuck it. I think it'll probably get taken out by the magic thing.
Probably. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. We will see you guys next week, and we love you. Bye.
Bye, y'all.